For the second time this week, Michigan played against a team from the bottom of the conference. For the second time this week, Sweeney, they went to overtime. They did not lose at the buzzer to like they did at Minnesota on that was Thursday night. But they did get taken to overtime by Northwestern. Danny Wolf struggled. It's the second time in 12 days they got a 30 ball out of Vlad Goldin. What do they call it? Area 51, the Twin Towers, the 2 7-footers they got. When they get both of them playing their best, they're a really, really good team. When that doesn't happen, then I think I have some concerns about Michigan. What do you make of them? What do you make of their ceiling? And what do you make of a week where it looks like some teams might have figured out ways to kind of deal with them?
Yeah, look, I didn't think they were great today by any stretch. I mean, for you to get 3 threes from Vlad Goldin, they need overtime to beat Northwestern, who I think right now is tracking towards missing the NCAA tournament. It's probably not a great sign, right? But, I thought they competed. I think Namari Burnett continues to give them a spark offensively, now in double figures, I believe for the 6th time in his last 7. Like, that has really been a nice surprise, I think, with this group, is seeing his kind of continued emergence. And, there's not going to be a lot of games where you keep Danny Wolf down without a field goal. I thought Northwestern did a really good job on him, really neutralized every part of his game, the playmaking, the scoring. I thought they did a great job managing Danny and forcing Michigan to beat them with tough shots. And some of that was Vlad making threes. Some of that was Burnett. Like, it was just different guys, and it found a way. I think Northwestern's a different team when Ty Berry plays well. He's been good the last 2 games after really struggling for the past probably couple weeks, and that gave Northwestern a chance to go on the road and win. But I thought the Jalen Leach ejection really hurt them. Kind of a controversial Flagrant too. But they're just not deep enough to withstand a loss like that in a big moment. Like
let's talk about that, because we've seen Draymond get tossed for that before, right? Like, that was exactly what he did to Steven Adams, and that was a whole thing. I don't know, where do you stand on that, Ars? Like, I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know if you need to referee based on intent. If a dude kicks somebody in the nuts and you think that there's a chance that it was intentional, like, I think you got to give him a flagrant. I don't know if you run him for something like that. I don't know where I stand on
it. However you feel about it, it was a massive play in this game, and I thought it was a game that Michigan could ill afford to lose. I mean, give Chris Collins a ton of credit, man. He has his veteran guys in there, and they don't have much of a bench. They don't get much help off the bench, and they gave a valid effort on the road today to get a win, against Michigan. But I mean, what do you say? You don't complain. You don't care. It's just conference basketball. It's Big Ten basketball. So, what I thought was weird about this game is we looked at Vlad Goldin 3 years ago when he was at FAU. Who would think now that he would be a starting center and the best player on a Power 5 school and a Power 5 team right now? When you saw him then, I mean, in that. A pretty dominant big, going for 31 in a Power 5 conference when he barely got the ball then. So I think that's just a part of the story in Michigan. And if his improvements that much does tell me a lot about Michigan and his growth, because I didn't see this type of jump coming from him. I thought he struggled when he got to Michigan.
Yeah, it's amazing when you look at it, right? Elijah Martin has been better since getting to Florida from FAU, and Vlad Goldin has been better since getting to Michigan from FAU, and Nick Boyd has been healthy. I don't know if you would necessarily call him better, but he's been healthy and been effective at San Diego State since getting there from FAU. And Janelle Davis is stuck on the bench as DJ Wagner takes 13 shots a game. That's a different conversation we might have a little bit later. I do want to have a little bit of a referendum here, guys, because it's one of the things that I think kind of gets beat to death in college basketball circles, but I think actually needs to have a bit of a discussion is the way that the officiating works in this sport, because there were at least 6 games that I watched this weekend where the end of them, the talking point ended up being something with calls. And look, I get it. There's 150 games in a college basketball weekend. There's going to, just like the chances of having a weird thing at the end of a game, it's pretty likely, but I probably watched 15 full games this weekend, right? And 6 of them had weird things happen during those games, whether it was the fouls against Kasparas Yakashonis, whether it was the flagrants and the reviews in the Michigan and Northwestern game, whether it was the end of the Providence Villanova game, which if you watch that was an abject disaster and a disaster class of officiating from that crew. The reviews at the end of the Ole Miss Mississippi State game were out of control, man. It was like 20 minutes of reviews in overtime, which is completely unnecessary. It was the foul that wasn't called on Hassan Diarra when he didn't get the 3 free throws. If you saw the end of the GW George Mason game, GW got like tackled twice at the end of, I think it was the end of overtime, and nothing was called. There were 3 different fouls that could have been called at the end of the game. There has to be something done to solve us from the crisis of officiating. And I'm not just talking about like guys missing a call here or missing a call there, right? It's the process. Anytime in the last 2 minutes, if a coach goes like this, you're obligated to go and review it, right? Even if you know you got the call right, even if you know that there's going to be like 0.1 second out of there, sitting there going like this, let's go check it. Let's go check it. We need reviews or something, Sweeney. I don't know how to fix it, but we need something. Because this is it's annoying how often we have to have a conversation about bad officiating at the end of a game.
On the monitor question, I'm 100% with you, and I think I understand it would be frustrating if all of a sudden there was a call that couldn't be reviewed, went to the monitor too many times, right? I know there'd be you probably have limits like you would have in the NBA. But you can basically verbally challenge anything, and you get an unlimited count of times you just get to wave your finger in the air. Like that to me is crazy. Bigger picture though, like I just think there needs to be more accountability with the refs. Like if you are going to have a bad performance as a ref, like there needs to be some sort of either public discussion over it, like a last 2-minute report in the NBA, or a public reprimand. Like you screwed this up. Like the way that this game was, like the way that was officiated in the UConn game was crazy. Like that call, like I tweeted this. If we're going to allow you to foul whenever you want in a late game situation and not call it a 3-shot foul because you were trying to foul, we might as well treat it like an intentional walk in baseball and not play the possession. Like a coach should be able to walk out in the middle of the floor and say, hey, we're going to foul here. Let's not play it. Let's send it to the free throw line.